Although the boys' bodies have not been found, the prosecution has said that evidence, including interviews with the West's other children, indicates the boys were killed in September of 2020, 3 months before the West reported them missing. The West are charged with second-degree murder, involuntary manslaughter, and other offenses and face life terms in prison if convicted.
April 11, 2023. Prosecutor Eric Smith is playing body-worn camera footage from Hightower from the night the boys were reported missing on December 21, 2020. Hightower was a lieutenant then and was in charge of the search. The video so far shows a flashlight being shown in a lot filled with brush and dirt. It's pitch black out. Prosecutors Eric Smith said he just realized the video was muted. He is replaying a portion of it. Hightower in the video tells a couple people he's looking for 2 young children. He's also looking for camera systems on homes. The first clip ended. Hightower testified he was west of the West home in that video. Smith has begun playing the second clip. Hightower knocks on a door and asks if he can look into an access window to see if the missing children are there. The homeowner says he has no problem with that. Hightower takes a look, then stands back up and continues walking in the yard. The second clip has ended. Hightower has identified the residence where he knocked on the door. There was no surveillance equipment on it, he said. Smith is playing the third and last video. In it, Jacqueline West can be heard yelling, "Orson and Orrin," as Hightower searches her home with her. Hightower asks Jacqueline her birth date, phone number, how long she's lived there, and what the children were wearing. "Make sure you check every little thing you can, okay?" Hightower says to another officer in the home. Trezell comes in and asks if anything's been found. He answers some questions about the boy's description. Trezell laughs when talking about how Orson, who's younger, weighs more than Orrin. Trezell tells the officer how he was gathering wood when the boys went missing. Hightower goes outside, leaving the other officers with the West. Hightower radios the boy's description and what the West said they were wearing. The clip has ended. Smith is questioning Hightower, who is describing where he looked in the West backyard. Hightower said the backyard had 2 exit points. There was a wooden gate and a heavy swinging metal gate. The metal gate was closed when he arrived. Hightower testified he looked in the West van, then for shoe tracks or tire tracks, anything to follow in a dirt lot next to the house. Hightower said he didn't see tracks or anything that would lead him to believe anyone had been in the lot. Smith, the prosecutor, is going to play an audio recording for the jury. Transcripts are being handed out to jurors. Multiple short audio recordings are being played, beginning with Hightower giving descriptions of the boys. Hightower in the second recording is communicating with other officers, asking for resources, giving updates on the search for surveillance cameras in the area. Smith has finished playing the audio clips and resumed questioning of Hightower. Hightower said he requested canine tracking dogs from the county to look for a scent. In a recording, an officer says the dogs haven't found anything. Hightower said he directed another officer to interview the other children who were at the home of Wanda West in Bakersfield. Hightower said there was a concrete slab just outside the back door of the California City home with some chalk drawings on it. He said he saw no small footprints in the dirt. Asked about Jacqueline West's demeanor, Hightower said he noticed what wasn't there. No frustration, no anxiety, no anger. She just seemed neutral, Hightower said. There were differences in the clothing descriptions of the boys that were sent out over the radio compared to what the West told him, Hightower said. The metal gate in the backyard was heavy and difficult to open, Hightower said. The implication is a young child wouldn't have been able to open it. Smith has displayed a photo of the metal gate on the east side of the West home. Smith followed that by playing a video of an officer opening the gate. It scrapes along the ground. There is a slight groove mark in the concrete and appears to take some force to move. Hightower said he received information after the West's other children were interviewed that changed the course of the investigation. He said they gathered more information and began writing search warrants. Warrants were authorized for the West home and van. The FBI was contacted. Hightower said he provided them with information and later requested assistance. Hightower said he requested a forensic dig team from the FBI. Nothing was located in the West's backyard. Computers and cell phones were seized from the West, Hightower said. They were given to the FBI for analysis. They were looking for images, data, and GPS information, Hightower said. Prosecutor Eric Smith has displayed a photo of an officer with a shovel in the West's backyard. They were about to dig to look for the children, Hightower said. BPD also assisted with the investigation, Hightower said, based on the information Cal City Police had received. Cal City PD was the primary investigative agency until March 2021, when BPD became the lead agency, Hightower said. The FBI was only involved for a month or two, he said. Smith has finished questioning Hightower, and Alexia Torres-Stallings, defense attorney for Jacqueline West, has begun cross-examination. Torres-Stallings has asked about issues with the California City Police Department's body-worn camera at the time the boys were reported missing. They would turn on and off on their own. Dates and times would be wrong. Hightower said officers should watch their body-worn camera footage before testifying and when writing their reports. 2 officers during the trial have testified they didn't write reports in the case, and yesterday one said he never viewed his footage. Hightower said he didn't review his body-worn camera footage before testifying at an earlier hearing. Hightower testified he never wrote a report during the investigation. Torres-Stallings is going over a call log from the search and asking Hightower to identify volunteers referred to on the log. There are 2 volunteers listed. Hightower said there were 5 officers, 2 volunteers, and 1 other person present. Volunteers had taken classes to be able to assist the department, but did not have the power to arrest anyone, Hightower said. Hightower said the 2 volunteers were told to write down which residences they went to. He doesn't know if the notes were written or given to an officer. Hightower said he asked Jacqueline West if she closed the gate in the backyard, but that interaction wasn't captured on his body camera. Torres-Stallings is attempting to point out discrepancies from the time listed on Hightower's body camera footage to what the actual time was. A man Hightower spoke with that night had cameras on his property. The man only reviewed his footage as far back as 5:26 p.m., not earlier. At another home, Hightower didn't notice surveillance cameras, but said he didn't ask the homeowner if they had any. He doesn't know which agency eventually asked. Hightower said he directed a California Highway Patrol helicopter on locations where to look the night the boys were reported missing. They performed a 5-mile radius, he said. Hightower said he did not go to the police station that night with Jacqueline and Trezell West, but instructed another officer to interview them. Hightower has identified 2 photos of chalk drawings as the drawings he saw on a concrete slab in the backyard of the West home on December 21st, 2020. Regarding the metal gate in the backyard, Hightower says he doesn't know if the gate opened in both directions. Digging in the backyard by the FBI occurred a few days after the boys were reported missing. They used their own equipment to search for human remains and found nothing, Hightower said. Yes, Hightower responded when asked if it was important to keep an open mind during an investigation. He agreed that what he says as police chief reflects upon the entire police department. He testified he was not aware Officer Michael Kalakios made comments about the case on Facebook and got in trouble for it. Prosecutor Eric Smith objected over lack of foundation, and Hightower's response was stricken from the record. Hightower testified he doesn't know of any specialized training any of the Cal City officers had in dealing with children. He agreed the way you speak to a child is different than the way you speak to an adult. Torres-Stallings asked if he watched the interviews Officer Brian Hansen conducted with the other West children. Hightower said he's never seen them, and yesterday was the first time he saw the form with the children's answers. Okay, Torres-Stallings said, paused, then moved on. Hightower said Hansen did not use the words murder or assisting in murder regarding his interviews with the children. He said Hansen told him the children said Orrin and Orson were never in California City. Torres Stallings asked if the department teaches an officer to touch a suspect while they're being interrogated. He said there are a couple different contexts that could be taken. I don't think that's appropriate, Hightower said of touching a suspect on their leg. He said he wasn't aware Hightower did that to Jacqueline West. He said he wasn't aware that Officer Hansen had done that. Torres Stallings is going to play a recording. Transcripts have been passed out. It's body-worn camera footage of Hightower and other officers arriving at the West home on December 23, 2020. The West allowed police in the home, but they had a search warrant ready, Hightower said. Police says they want the West to look at some photo lineups. Hightower is given permission by Trezell West to look in the boys' bedroom. He looks through closets in 2 bedrooms, shines a flashlight along the wall and into corners. Hightower said there were several search warrants served on the home. He's not sure when they located a firearm, but they did find one. He said it would have been taken, made safe, and kept in a secure place. Torres Stallings pauses the video on an image of Hightower holding a pistol. Hightower said it was found in a closet. Torres Stallings played footage in which Hightower apparently says he would hide the weapon. Hightower said he doesn't remember saying that, but if that's what the video says, he said it. The gun was placed underneath a blanket on a bunk bed. Hightower, under questioning from Torres Stallings, said in this particular instance, it was a secure location. He said there's an explanation, but she didn't question him about it. Hightower has rejoined other officers in a room where the West are being questioned. Torres Stallings asked if the living room looks like it did 2 days earlier when the boys were reported missing. Hightower said yes. In the video, Hightower and Trezell West go in the backyard, where Trezell starts going through what happened the night of December 21st, 2020. Trezell West talks about gathering wood and noticing the boys had gone missing. He talks about all the attention the case is getting, how people are acting crazy. Trezell West says he didn't think to look for footprints or anything like that. He at first just thought the boys were playing hide and seek. Trezell says he's stressed. Asked what he thinks happened, he said people are talking about how maybe the biological parents took them. Torres Stallings paused the recording and Hightower said the biological parents were interviewed. He said he believes they were interviewed the same day as this recording was made. Hightower said the timestamp on the video is wrong and this interview with Trezell took place on December 22nd, 2020. Torres Stallings has resumed playing the video and Trezell is continuing to speak with Hightower. Trezell tells Hightower some of the planks in the backyard fence are loose. The video was briefly paused and Hightower said he doesn't know if anyone checked to see if the planks were loose or partly open. Trezell talks about changing the boys' names. Trezell talks about changing the boys' names from Sincere to Classic. Trezell talks about changing the boys' names from Sincere and Classic to Orrin and Orson. He says the other 4 children are partly Hispanic and Orrin and Orson are black. Trezell in the video talks about the need for more black children to be adopted and be a part of strong families. The conversation pivots to Trezell talking about how he creates beats and sells them to other musicians. He says it's all done online. They go back in the house. Hightower speaks quietly with another officer. The video jumps to asking the West if they'll agree to a DNA cheek swap. It ends shortly after. Hightower said the West voluntarily gave the DNA swab. Torres Stallings ended her questioning, and Timothy Hennessy, attorney for Trezell West, has begun cross-examination. The plan during the recording just played was to divide the couple, make sure there were no weapons, and question them, Hightower said. He said he didn't tell the couple they had a warrant and doesn't know if someone else did. Asked about the first dog that was sent to the scene to search for the boys, Hightower said it was a tracking dog. He said he directed search and rescue to follow the route that Trezell's van took. Hennessy ended his questioning and prosecutor Eric Smith has begun redirect examination. Hightower testified he had the dog follow the van route because he wanted to see if the children had been driven away. Search and rescue did that route first, then went to other locations, he said. Hightower said he had a signed search warrant from a judge before entering the West home in the video that was previously shown. He said he moved the gun for the safety of himself and the officers in case one of the West became angry and made a run for the weapon. That's why he took it from the closet and placed it underneath a blanket, he said. In sending Officer Hansen to Bakersfield, Hightower said he was getting other people ready for more searches. He didn't know what Hansen would bring back, but it changed how they conducted the investigation. As incident commander, Hightower delegated responsibilities to others, including to officers who would become the primary investigators. Hightower said he relied on Officer Hansen to write reports in this case. In a missing persons case, it's necessary to walk through the scene to try to locate the person, Hightower said. He said they relied on what Trezell and Jacqueline told them the first night of the search. Knowing what he does know now, he would have done things differently. Local citizens arrived to search for the boys that night, Hightower said. He said he had no control over them going into public areas. After a couple quick questions from Smith, Alexia Torres-Stallings is again questioning Hightower. He said he doesn't know if any of the West children questioned by Officer Brian Hansen had any physical or learning disabilities. Hightower testified he doesn't know if Hansen told him the children knew the difference between right and wrong. Torres-Stallings ended questioning. Now Timothy Hennessy is again asking questions. He clarified for Hennessy there was nothing he could do to stop members of public from going into the desert area the night the disappearance was reported. Hightower said he didn't have the resources to stop citizens from entering certain areas. Questioning has ended and Hightower has been excused. The next witness will testify in Spanish with the assistance of an interpreter. Maria Martinez has been called to the stand. She lives in Oregon with 3 adopted children. She adopted them in 2019. She also has 3 adult children. Martinez lived in Bakersfield before moving to Oregon. She lived in an apartment on Lotus Lane. Prosecutor Eric Smith has shown her a map of the apartment complex. Martinez said she doesn't understand it. She said she thinks she understands it now. The map has been admitted into evidence. The apartment where Martinez lived has been identified. She lived there 15 years. At some point, Trezell and Jacqueline West moved into the apartment complex. Martinez shared a wall with the couple. She can't remember how long they lived there. Martinez testified the West biological children are her grandchildren. Martinez was a foster parent and went to classes with Jacqueline West on how to make sure the house was safe for children, among other classes. Maria Martinez testified she knows the West adopted 4 children, but doesn't know their names. She said Jacqueline West had her own life and she had hers. Martinez said she communicated with her daughter, Jacqueline West, on Facebook at times. Smith has displayed a photo of Jacqueline with 4 of the children and asked her to identify each person. She has trouble with naming all of them. Martinez testified she only remembers the names of the biological children. Orrin and Orson weren't pictured in the photo. Martinez said they were adopted in 2019. She said she doesn't remember their ages when adopted. Asked how often she visited Jacqueline and the kids, Martinez said almost never. She said she had to take care of her kids and Jacqueline had to take care of hers. Under questioning by Smith, Martinez said Trezell had nothing to do with her not visiting. She said she rarely visits anyone. Martinez testified she never watched Jacqueline and Trezell's children in 2019 or 2020. No, we wouldn't see each other. Martinez testified she recognized the photo of Orrin and Orson West, but couldn't remember their names. Having been shown the photos, Martinez said she can't remember babysitting the children. The West didn't call her when they were moving. She didn't find out until afterward, Martinez said. Martinez testified she didn't watch any of the 6 children while the West moved. Jacqueline West later called her to say they had moved to California City, Martinez said. Martinez said she took the West some plants for their new home. Martinez has identified photos of the plants taken on her phone. Her phone was given to law enforcement to extract information. There were some messages from Jacqueline asking when she was arriving at the Cal City home. Martinez said she just got the plants from the car, then she left. Martinez said she just got the plants from the car, then she left the Cal City home. Jacqueline helped her get the plants from the car. Martinez said she didn't go into the home that day. During video chats with her daughter, she never talked with the children. Martinez said it was weird that she wouldn't show them, she said. Martinez said she found out the boys were missing when the FBI came to her home. In December 2020, Trezell West dropped Jacqueline off and they went to eat tacos, Martinez said. She said Jacqueline told her Trezell and the kids were going to Trezell's mom's. This was around December 5th or 6th.